What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris, and today I'm going to show you folks how to make an incredibly overpowered setup with an extremely low cost that you can access in just your first few hours of the game. If you're finding Nightingale difficult, want to grind things out quickly, or just want to have a bit of fun here in the game, then this video will have you covered. The last build I made was a real Swiss Army knife of a build, capable of doing everything in the game proficiently. But with today's video, I'll show you folks how to blow that out of the water, needing only one charm to get you started. This will turn you into a master of all, capable of doing everything in the game with great effect. It'll open up new and fun possibilities in your gameplay, and it's also just a little tiny bit broken. But it's so much fun that I didn't want to keep this a secret for too long. So today, let's talk about the charm of the Pugilist. Before we get into the breakdown, I'd just like to make an advisory here, as this is seemingly unintended results of a charm. This will probably be patched out in the future. It could be soon or could be a while, it depends on its priority. But as so, I'd just like to warn you all that this won't be here for forever. If you don't have this charm just yet, or maybe missed it along the way, you could buy it from the Forest Provisioner Trader. It's super cheap too, at just a few tier 2 essence, or the green essence. Then, when crafting, it's equally as cheap, at 1 hand thread and 1 smooth bauble. It's just 3 simple base items of a bit of crude fiber, 5 tin ingots, and 2 stone blocks, and you could have a charm that will boost literally everything about your character. So let's talk about how Charm of the Pugilist works here, then get into all of the crazy and maybe unintended ways that you could use it. The way Pugilist works is it will increase your unarmed damage based on the tier of gloves you're using, essentially turning your gloves into an extra weapon you can use. You can always punch in the game, and if you have a high enough melee stat, it can actually be pretty fun to mess around with. But when you have Pugilist applied, you turn your fists into deadly weapons, multiplying their base damage by pretty crazy amounts. Just like all charms, this isn't a bonus that you can view in your stats screen, as here are 2 sets of gloves, our main set with the charm applied, and a magic range set without. Without the charm, we do pretty measly damage, but with the charm, we're doing like 33 times our base damage in a single hit, and pushing it to crazy levels with crits. The melee damage is really nice though, and again, this turns hand-to-hand combat into something viable, which is very much the intended effect of Pugilist. But next, let's go through all the crazy things you might not expect Pugilist to boost. The first weapon is the real showstopper, the one that makes this so insanely broken. With grenades, you turn them from near-nuclear weapons to a delete button. They could do millions of damage with Pugilist and a few other charms boosting our damage. You can use them to instantly remove groups of enemies and even one-shot tier 3 fabled bosses. These are the easy mode button right now in the game. If you ever want to have some fun and get some great endgame materials easily, this might be one of the best ways to do so right now, simply due to the insane damage counts that you get. Then we have our throwing knives, and what you'll notice here is that it's essentially any weapon that you could put into your offhand that gets boosted. And even though there's a lot of stuff going on here, the big crits from these throwing knives are just as mental as the grenades. Maybe not one-shotting the boss, but 2-shotting them still. And with your main hand free, you can just run and jump around throwing knives at things from afar, then getting in close and giving them the old what for. Now for the weapon that keeps staying as one of the unexpected best weapons in the game, the lantern. The pure beatdown that you can lay on bosses with this thing is mental. If we combine our lantern with charm of 100 blows, we wind up doing millions of damage in seconds. This thing isn't the one-shot cannon, it's more like just raw DPS. There's a bit of a rhythm you need to keep to have good swings, but the lantern just becomes pure unbridled slappage that the enemies probably don't even deserve at this point. It's not the best option for smaller, faster moving enemies, but if they stand still for even a few seconds so we can start stacking the combos of the lantern, it's just a quick and easy way to beat these endgame bosses. Again, it's a little bit difficult to time the lantern swing in the beginning. I still have to remember to slow down myself. So you'll want to maybe try it out a few times before you start using it in endgame vaults. But still, 20 seconds for a boss like this is great. Not as good as our previous options, but still ridiculously fast in comparison to normal. And lastly, for a bit of a cool trick we could pull here, we could boost our magic damage as well with Pugilist. If we cast our spell, then unequip our weapon, or have an open hand and an offhand, then our magic gets a pretty solid damage boost. But if we put on an outfit spec'd more towards magic, we really see this become super powerful, doing 300,000 crits on enemies. And this isn't even as far as magic can go, so it's got some pretty awesome damage potential, I think. Then there's Swarm, which I haven't gotten to try yet, but it may be the better option for bosses as it focuses your damage more towards DPS on a single enemy. Either way, it's awesome having a thing we could do here in the game to boost our magic like this. There's something kind of fitting about putting away your casting tool to focus on your magic. And if you're using the Combat Master build I made just the other week, then combine this with the Lantern build from that video and 100 blows, and you'll have full mastery of magic and melee. And just really quickly before we get to wrapping up the video here, for some revised charms on my outfit currently for the Combat Master build, on my Sentinel's gloves I've switched things over to the charm of the Pugilist. On my boots I've got the charm of the Wanderer for that infinite stamina while sprinting. And then on the Mystic Lantern I've got the charm of 100 blows. And as a final bonus tip, because I have no idea where else to fit this into, you can do grenade jumps in the game as of 0.3. Similar to the Blunderbuss's special ability, you can use this for a quick boost of momentum or to clear out a crowd of enemies. Though, as fair warning, this seems to only work on certain builds of mine so far, the Combat Master being one of them, and I have no freaking clue why it works. But it does, at least for now, because much like Pugilist, I could see this one getting fixed up in the future if it's a priority too. So there we go, folks. Is this the one charm to rule them all? Well, for right now at least in the game, it definitely is. The Pugilist charm boosts everything excluding melee weapons to an insane degree, and when you combine it with a great endgame build, it only gets more fun. So, let me know, will you add Charm of the Pugilist to your build? Let me know in the comments down below. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then,